Babylon falls, only one group will celebrate. I want you to imagine it happening in real time, not as ancient prophecy, as a live broadcast, as the worst day the modern world has ever seen. In the book of Revelation, the fall of Babylon does not take a decade. It does not take a year. Listen to how fast it comes. For in 1 hour is thy judgment come. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. 1 hour. In the space of a single hour, the greatest concentration of wealth the world has ever assembled comes to nothing. Think about what that means. Everything people spent their whole lives building. Every account, every portfolio, every retirement fund, every fortune, gone. Inside 60 minutes. The number on the screen goes to 0, and it does not come back. And Revelation does something remarkable here. It doesn't just tell you the city fell. It takes you out into the crowd, and it lets you hear 3 different groups of people react. 3 waves of grief, one after another. And I want you to hear all 3, because you know these people. You may be one of them. The first to mourn are the kings, the powerful, the ones who ran things, who partnered with Babylon, who shared in her luxury. Watch them. And the kings of the earth, who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Notice, they stand afar off. At the first sign of trouble, the powerful step back. They loved her when she paid. They watch her burn from a safe distance. The second wave is the merchants, the business class, the ones who got rich selling to her. And their grief is the most honest grief in the whole Bible, because they don't even pretend it's about her. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more.
People really believe it's a game, but judgment is coming. Mystery Babylon is America. And people who are in the truth can sense what's going on. We can feel the shift. It's difficult to explain the feeling, but it's almost like we're anticipating something happening, but we can't quite put our finger on it. And it's not something that we're afraid of. It's a healthy anticipation, as if we're going to be set free. And those who are wicked are going to be the ones mourning. And those who are righteous are going to be the ones who are preserved. And the Bible talks about it being a remnant, even escaping Babylon, being able to talk about it as a testimony. And we're going to talk about that because there's a lot going on right now. Politically, geopolitically, you got a parasite going around that's apparently affecting our vegetation. And people are getting explosive diarrhea. I think it's hit over, I want to say it was 800 widespread so far. You got a lot going on with the war over there in Iran. They're ramping things up over there. You know, the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, and you got all these data centers everywhere, and there's water shortages everywhere to the point where they're tokenizing water. And so we got to get into it. And y'all know how we do, ladies and gentlemen. We give nothing but the truth. So as you enter the broadcast, make sure you get the likes up. Share this video everywhere so everybody can catch the word. With no further ado, let's get to it.
They working against us. They hate our souls. They hate us. They hate our righteous indignation. They hate the exhortation that dwells in us. They hate our love for They hate our conviction. They hate the fact that we repented. They hate the fact that we're truthful, honest, and bold. They hate our courage. Them devils hate us. We're not finna line ourselves up with these weirdos and freaks. With these weirdos and freaks. They working against us. They hate our souls. Weirdos and freaks. But these weirdos and freaks, they working against us. They hate our souls. Nubreed.
From Section 8 to District 12, they tried to keep us in a shell. And they always got some bad news. But we got some news for them too. He's coming back. Yeah. I'm sick and tired of hearing bad news. So I'm loaded up these tracks like the renters past due. I done took so many L's, I feel I can't lose. Trying to bring my life to shambles. But they egos got bruised, you too fragile. Survival mode, prep me for the battle. Couple shots of Jack Daniels, quoting scriptures with my tassels. No rehearsing, just attack it. They got nervous, tried to cancel. Picture perfect, I'm advancing. Was it worth it? Still standing. I done finally caught a break. I won't catch another case. On the narrow, walking straight. Let them weak cowards hate. I know how to kill a snake. Let them seal their own fate. Let them dig their own grave. I create my own ways. Fortified, renegade. Hold the line, we the brave. Israelites, FBAs, mobilize and regain. Spend some time at the range. It's really not a game. About my business, I ain't playing. Just listen what I'm saying. I'm sick and tired of hearing bad news. And them devils perpetrating, trying to act cool. I cut them off, I graduated to a admiral. Survival is a must, I'ma do whatever I have to do. Your energy is dust, rather move on than match you. These times are critical. Truth lives, I am living proof. The air is different here, got a different view. Next phase, everything else is minuscule. For you haters and you snakes, I got bad news. We taking over, and for you, that is bad news. Coming back for what's old and it's past due. We've been breaking out these chains and these shackles. They gon' have to feel our pain till they can't move. Christ is king, so don't tell us what we can't do. When he return, all you devils, y'all some sad fools. It's get down or lay down, we got new rules.
God can get your handle, don't be an example. Perched at high places, jumping backwards off the mantle. Remnants of a spirit of a gymnast, flipping sample. Hard times getting handled, life can be a handful. Once it's all said and done, kick my feet up in some sandals. They say life is a beach they built on sand, getting trampled. Live and learn, heavenly riches earn. The market it breeds concern, cities and bridges burn. The flaming goes to rain, villages slain for profit gain. The profit margins off the chart, so what's obtained is all in vain. They said disdain all in their mouth, if they get out the money change. Intelligence deficit doesn't come at my expense. Intellectual mind of a golden child, I'm convinced. My enemies relent, Christ is my defense. A king turned for prince.
Welcome back. Welcome back. I see you brothers and sisters rolling in the chat. Sash y'all one in the building. Gladiators in the house. Yes, Mika Love is in the building. Hey, the Pure Goddess channel's in the house. Let's see who else we got in the building. We got Shantavia Walker, Tracy Henry, Wanda Austin. I'm glad to have y'all. I'm glad to have y'all. Listen, the Most High's people can see what's going on. And Babylon is slipping. We're literally watching it break. It's cooked. You can see it on the countenance of a lot of people. You can see it in leadership. They are desperate. They are panicking. And they're doing everything in their power to project the same fear that they got. But it's too late. It's too late. We already know what it is. In the spirit, we have been battling. We have been fighting. We have survived a lot. We survived gang stalking. We survived narcissistic abuse. We survived smear campaigns, all of the above. And a lot of us survived this before anybody knew anything about what was happening. That's because the Most High was training us for this time. So we definitely are not afraid of the judgment that's coming to the place that tormented us. We're not afraid of the judgment that's coming to the place that has, sabotaged our growth in many ways. No, we're not doing that. We want what's owed to us. We want what's owed to us. So, we coming bold in the spirit, bold in the truth, and we just going to cry loud and spare not. We don't care what people feel, how it, the wicked, first of all, the wicked should be the only ones that's afraid. But we don't care how they feel. We're going to tell the truth. Let's see. Let's get this thing started. I want to thank y'all for coming on in. And let's make sure that y'all keep the chat not in short of interactive. I would like y'all to make sure that you're in the comment section. If you want to support the work, then hitting them with a super chat, that's going to piss a lot of people off. They always get angry when y'all support. So feel free to show your support so your message can be highlighted, because I'm going to be going into a lot of different things here. And I would like to give y'all feedback. But, when your super chat comes in, your message is highlighted and I can chime in on what you're talking about. But Babylon is falling. And it's basically because of how America's moving, the things they're doing. This current administration is putting us in a lot of hot water, a whole lot of hot water. Let's get this off of here.
We killed 800,000 Iranians for Israel. Every war we have fought in the Middle East was fought at the behest of Israel. March 20, 2003, Bush launched the invasion on Iraq. What did Iraq have to do with 9/11? Nothing. We invaded Iraq because Israel wanted us to invade Iraq. All of these wars in the Middle East, including the Iraq-Iran war. People forget about that. Israel talked America into inciting the Iraq-Iran war. It was America that funded, America that equipped, America that gave the military apparatus, gave the technology, the surveillance, and the CIA intelligence network, and everything that they needed to invade Iran. All was done by the United States of America at the behest of Tel Aviv. And that war cost the Iranian people 800,000 lives. We killed 800,000 Iranians for Israel. But it's not enough. We've still got to kill more Iranians. Every war we have fought in the Middle East was fought at the behest of and for the benefit of Israel. Every president since George W. Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, and Trump again have been mere puppets for the state of Israel. And that leads me to Donald Trump. Couldn't wait to get here. June 22nd, 2025 and February 28, 2026. Without authorization from Congress and with Iran posing zero imminent threat to the safety and security of the United States, Trump launched 2 attacks against Iran. The first one lasting 2 weeks, the second one lasting 40 days, with skirmishes continuing and with no end in sight. Another all-out war is expected soon. Anyone who thinks there's going to be a peace deal is living in fantasy land. The agreement that Donald Trump signed, the very first paragraph, has been broken and is still being broken as Israel continues its ethnic cleansing in the southern half of Lebanon. And the United States government is saying and doing nothing to prevent it. And that's paragraph 1, that would stop. Donald Trump has no intention on fulfilling his word. When has the greatest con man to ever live cared about his word? That was okay. That was just fine. He lies with every breath. He's never told the truth. You can't believe anything the man says. And he has no intention on following through with the agreement that he made with Iran. And Iran is not bluffing. They proved already they are not bluffing. All of these wars in the Middle East including the Iraq-Iran war. We killed 800,000 Iranians for Israel. Every war we have fought in the Middle East was fought at the behest of and for the benefit of Israel. Every president since George W. Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, and Trump again have been mere puppets for the Zionist state of Israel.
We lied about Vietnam. We lied about Iraq. We lied about Afghanistan. We lied about Somalia. We lied about Libya. We put more small arms and medium arms into the hands of terrorist groups the world over by not securing Gaddafi's weapons caches in Libya than any arms merchant has ever put into the world. Did the same thing in Iraq. We failed to secure Saddam Hussein's arm caches. We didn't have enough troops to do it, so we just left them for Al-Qaeda and ISIS and others to have their will.
The idea, first of all, of Islamic terrorism.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me already. Sash, y'all 1 came through with the support already. Y'all about to make a lot of people upset just showing up and showing y'all support. I got to talk about this. Listen, America has been put on a whole lot of dummy missions. And it's getting to the point where Babylon is being sacrificed by the Idumeans. All right, we good to go. Great, great. And listen, I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences. And I know how calculated these individuals are. Extremely calculated. You know, And none of this is normal. And at some point, we got to stop pretending like it's normal. When there's so many ways they can go about these data centers, there's so many ways that they could have done things instead of draining our water supply, instead of, going to war. Somebody said they closed YouTube. Instead of going to war with Iran, which is backfiring on America, and we did it at the behest of Israel. And I'm gonna tell you right now, they're planning on making a Trump Gaza, and they're operating as if they're Antichrist. It just is what it is. And we're seeing it in real time. We're seeing it in real time. A major breakdown, major collapse. And look, I want to read a scripture for y'all. And this scripture is in the book of Proverbs when it says, when the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? Now, I want you to notice the scripture speaks about foundations. A building doesn't collapse because of what's on the roof. A building collapses when the foundation is compromised. What are foundations? What's the foundation of a nation? Food, water, energy, economy, family, faith, truth. All of these things are being disrupted. And it's like undeniable. When you have the eyes to see, you can see it. And I'm going to let you brothers and sisters know, you're not alone in this. The feeling that you've been having is real. And I want to show y'all what's going on in New York. They're out here lying again, once again, saying that it's because of Canadian wildfires that the East Coast or the northern states are just going through it. I want y'all to pray for my brothers and sisters in Detroit. Oh man, Tracy just came through with the support. Oh man, y'all gonna start making them upset. Y'all gonna make them upset. Y'all know how they do. When you speaking the truth and people come through and support, they be out here having many seizures and stuff just based on the support. Tracy Henry says, I love your content. Not many go in like you do. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm here to try to keep you all informed to the best of my ability. And yes, history is definitely repeating itself. History is repeating itself, and Babylon is falling. It's falling. Thank you for the support, Tracy. I appreciate you. Now, we gotta talk about the air supply here, because there's something going on in the air. And Detroit has some of the worst air quality right now. A lot of the brothers and sisters, they got to stay in the house right now. They can't even go out. And they pulled this before about this wildfire thing. Listen, Canadian wildfires is not the reason. It's not the reason. We're going to talk about the reason. I want y'all to check this out, what's going on over here in New York. Let me share my screen with you all. Yep, somebody said we ain't dumb. Yep, somebody said chemical smoke here in Ohio too. Wow.
Milton loves rocks, so he bought a .rocks domain name with Squarespace.
Well, let's take a live look outside. And as you can see, the smoking conditions from the Canadian wildfires are still in the tri-state area. Just look at that haze. Here's the good news, though. The worst of it should be behind us. Officials, though, still urging people in sensitive groups to take it easy and use precautions right now. The air quality is expected to improve as the weekend continues. All right, let's take a look at your full weekend forecast. So today, as I just mentioned,
ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to say allegedly when I say this, but I believe that they're purposely contaminating the people. I don't trust the so-called powers that be. I don't trust the gut. Listen, you can call me a conspiracy theorist. You can call me what you want. But not only do I believe that they're poisoning people purposely, but I believe that these chemicals are mind altering. I believe these chemicals are mind altering. But here's the thing about it. The reason why we got to be on a righteous path, the reason why we got to stay the course is because those who are actually walking in faith, walking in truth, it's like we're protected against even physical threats that manifest. It's like the Most High shields us from even getting contaminants. Like, because you're going to see all kind of plagues in Babylon. Before it collapses, it's going to be all kind of plagues. Contaminated air. You got this plague going on with the vegetables, parasites. The Most High is going to be guarding us from these things. Let's get this person up out of here. And if I got any moderators present, make sure if people in here talking crazy, you get them up out of there. And now we got this stuff going on. Excuse me. Now we got this stuff going on with the vegetables. Allow me to pull that up for y'all too. I'm telling y'all, man, we're watching it break.
Is really valuable, and especially with the context of the source code of the agent itself, in addition to obviously all of the actual.
Federal investigators now have a lead on the possible source of a foodborne illness outbreak that made thousands of people sick. Iceberg lettuce could be the culprit, including some used by fast food giant Taco Bell. CBS News correspondent Usher Qureshi has the details.
Cases of a foodborne illness tied to fresh produce have been climbing across multiple states. Now, the FDA may be zeroing in on the potential source of the gastrointestinal parasite Cyclospora. CBS News has learned the FDA's traceback investigation has identified a single supplier of iceberg lettuce from Mexico, Taylor Farms, according to a source familiar with the investigation. Taco Bell uses that supplier in 5 states where people have gotten sick with cyclosporiasis. In a statement, Taco Bell said in part that it has taken immediate action to voluntarily remove potentially impacted lettuce from a supplier in select states. Cyclosporiasis is characterized by symptoms that include.
We got to stop eating the fast food. Really, I believe all of it is coming from fast food. This parasite. They're saying it's just coming from lettuce in general. I believe it's, how do we know it's not the Taco Bell itself? So, I mean, these are the things that we just got to avoid. Seriously. It's part of being set up. Part of being set apart is staying away from this type of stuff, because I'm telling you, the food, the stuff they're serving up is getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, it's just taking people out, ladies and gentlemen. There's more and more chemicals in this food every single day.
Severe diarrhea, nausea, bloating, and fatigue that can last days, weeks, or more than a month.
The 2 things you can do that can really reduce the risk to almost zero would be peeling your fruits and vegetables or cooking them. Rinsing can reduce the risk, but it won't eliminate it.
To give you a sense of how quickly it's spread, in Michigan, where health officials say they usually see around 50 cases annually, there have now been more than 4,000 reported cases in less than a month, and 102 people have been hospitalized.
What kinds of processes are in place after the source has been identified to mitigate for this from happening again?
So it's human waste contaminating water, that water then being used to irrigate the crops or to wash the produce after it's been picked. So what you need to do is you need to eliminate the exposure to human waste.
We reached out to Taylor Farms but have not yet heard back. Now, this is not the first time the produce supplier has dealt with contaminated products. As recently as 2024, yellow onions from a Taylor Farms facility in Colorado that were served at McDonald's were linked to an E. coli outbreak. Back to you.
Turns out you should never sue the driver who crashed into you after a car accident.
Listen, as Babylon continue to fall, as the poison is being put out there, ladies and gentlemen, we got to guard our vessels. It's extremely important to guard our vessels during this time. Be careful what you're eating. You know, they trying to aim at us using chemical warfare. Let's just call it what it is. It's germ warfare. It's chemical warfare. It's real. And a lot of people don't want to talk about this. A lot of people don't. If you talk about it, if you're somewhat conscious to what's going on, a lot of people don't want to hear it. But see, brothers and sisters, a lot of y'all warn friends, family, colleagues, associates about certain threats that's going on, and they don't want to hear it. But the blood ain't on your hands because you're letting them know what it is. And then you have this technology expansion with these data centers. And in the month of August, it's going to get real. It's going to get real by the month of August. And I want to show y'all something. Y'all got to forgive me because I'm having some technical issues on my end. So I'm kind of pacing myself with the sources to make sure I can get them all to y'all. Make sure y'all get the likes up so people can get the notification. Because it's getting real. Some of you all are familiar with what these data centers are doing. And if you're not, you're about to find out. You're about to find out. All right.
Reports have shown how energy use by AI data centers that we've been talking about are potentially causing electricity prices to rise for some Americans. But a new study says our drinking water is also impacted. Meteorologist Max Paris explains why so much water is being used and how advocacy groups want this issue addressed.
As the demand for artificial intelligence accelerates, the data centers that operate this new technology are consuming vast amounts of natural resources to get the job done, including fresh water, which cools off these massive servers and evaporates as it does so, with a new study showing this could threaten the drinking water supply nationwide. When you give AI a prompt, servers at data centers utilize enormous amounts of energy responding to them. As News Nation has previously reported, the increased demand potentially causing some Americans' electricity bills to soar by up to 20%. This energy consumption generates heat, reducing the efficiency of these servers. So to counter that, data centers use incredible amounts of fresh water to cool them off, which could be threatening the water supply. According to new research from Purdue University, an average data center uses 300,000 gallons of water every day, enough to supply 1,000 homes.
Listen, not only is the artificial intelligence destroying our water, it's also making us extremely reliant, and it's creating more division. How many of you all have noticed that there's a block between people? Like there's an invisible shield. Communication isn't the same anymore. Especially if you're a person who likes to be around people and create positive energy. It's like everybody is extremely guarded. Why? Because everybody's plugged in the matrix. Everybody's plugged in the matrix. And everybody's reliant on an AI. And you know, every time we're typing in ChatGPT or Grok or whatever, and we're getting it to give us information, there's a lake there's a river, there's a body of water, an ocean, part of an ocean drying up. It's drying up. Now, of course, I personally believe that the AI shouldn't have been released to the whole world like it has. I don't believe it should have. I believe that AI should only specifically be used by people who are in a profession of either content creation, or they just are actually doing something that requires the AI. Too much of anything can be a horrible thing, man. Now everybody got access to this.
With 2/3 of new data centers being built in water-scarce regions like Arizona and Texas. In the Lone Star State, data centers will use 46 billion gallons of water this year alone and are projected to use nearly 400 billion gallons by 2030. That's about 7% of the total water used in the entire state. But a spokesperson for the Data Center Coalition believes these concerns are being addressed, saying the data center industry prioritizes efficient water practices and responsible management. Data centers are also actively investing in and deploying innovations such as waterless cooling systems, closed-loop systems, and the use of recycled or reclaimed water. In Illinois, more than 200 data centers have already been built or are in development as the AI industry continues exploding, which is an alarming trend according to a Great Lakes advocacy group based in Chicago.
We're on a collision course for competing water uses here in the Great Lakes region. So even though we're surrounded by this abundance, lots of folks are looking to tap into that abundance. And it's critical that we get a handle on where we're headed with this water use before parts of the industry make those decisions for us.
As water usage spikes and groundwater supplies are strained, there could be a need to siphon more water from the Great Lakes, which is a slippery slope since only 1% of lake water is replenished by precipitation every year, with advocates saying governmental regulation is what's needed most to manage this burgeoning industry.
All right, Max Superis, thank you so much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone.
Yeah, buddy. Listen, we're watching technology expand while human connection declines. And somehow, the mass majority of the world believes that this is progress. Family, listen, listen, listen. This progress is going to destroy people. The truth is, many people are exhausted. And it's not because people are lazy, and it's not because they don't want to work. They're exhausted because they're trying to survive in a system that constantly demands more while giving less. More taxes, more debt, more inflation, more surveillance, more dependency, less freedom. I'm talking about right now, people are crashing out here in Atlanta. They tearing them flock cameras down. I mean, all over the place. It's certain roads I can go on and I just see flock cameras that have been tore down, spray painted over. Why? Because we're watching a breakdown. We're seeing more surveillance, more dependency, less freedom, less ownership, less security, less peace. And this is why so many people feel anxious even when they just can't explain it. Their spirits are recognizing what their mind has not fully even processed yet. And this is why we have to turn to a divine power, the Most High. This is why we have to have a spiritual foundation. This is why we have to, have these constant reminders to stay on the straight and narrow. Because they're creating something that's going to be irreversible. It's going to be irreversible. Then you got all this racial tension going on in the country as well. You know, you got the Nolan Wells situation. You know, you got Carmelo Anthony, that situation. And I'm thinking that pretty soon Carmelo Anthony is going to be getting a retrial, which is good. But the scriptures warn us. The scriptures tell us, it says that a time like this will come when men's hearts would fail them for fear because of what they see coming upon this earth. And that's Luke 21:26. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming to the earth. And if you look around, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look around and pay attention. People are afraid. They're afraid of losing their jobs. They're afraid of losing their homes, afraid of getting sick, afraid of economic collapse, afraid of what the future may hold for their children. Fear has become the most powerful currency in the world right now. And this is why the global elite are doing the things they're doing, to cultivate fear, because that's the only way they can create destruction. Fear is a tool, because frightened people are easier to control. That's why, as God's chosen people, you have to learn to leave the fear behind. The Most High says, meditate on his word. He tell us not to worry about tomorrow. The scriptures make it very clear that we're not supposed to bring tomorrow's problems into today. And shout out, somebody gifted a whole bunch of members. See, man, y'all be showing so much love over here. Somebody gifted some memberships. Man, I got some beautiful people in the chat that's always supporting. Y'all support monetarily, and y'all looking out for each other, making sure people have, access to the members only content. I appreciate that, for real. One love. People who believe they have no options, they're going to surrender their freedoms. See, they would never have surrender under normal circumstances, but because people are fearful. This is why you got Sambo super soldiers, raccoons, tethers, who all want to align themselves with the white supremacy structure because it's fear. They're afraid. I don't know what it is about the Most High's people, but we never. Listen, we've lived through so much. We've had so much anxiety and pressure on our lives. We just don't have. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all don't understand fear no more. Like, not in the sense of if somebody was coming to do something to you, you wouldn't be alert and have some level of fear, because that can be good. But when I say fear, I'm talking about pending doom, pending destruction. You don't really have fear for that because you done been through so much. You done been through so much that it's like, what's the worst that can happen? That all of this come to an end? And it's like, if you're a person who don't have that fear, you can be trusted. There's going to be so many people betraying each other, and we've already seen it. There's going to be so many people throwing their brothers and sisters under the bus out of fear, because you don't want to get the mark of the beast. There's going to be agencies that's going to be contacted. Yeah, your own mother, your own father, your own sister, your own brother. When the pandemic hit, there were hotlines that people were calling, reporting people for having barbecues. They were reporting people for having gatherings in their own houses. Fear. And guess what did all of that? Fear. That was foreshadowing what's going to come. That was foreshadowing what is to happen next. Look, Kingdom Kid, thank you for the support. My brother coming through with the support. Y'all know how y'all gonna get these people. Kingdom Kid, make them mad, make them mad. Repent and be saved. This is for me. To Jesus is coming. Get your house in order. Absolutely. The Messiah is coming. People are easy to control out of fear. This is why you got these Agent Smiths and these perpetrators and these sellouts and these Sambos. Fear. They're afraid. They're afraid of what they're going to lose. And guess what? Their worst fears, they're going to come true. Their worst fears are going to come true. And it's because they were cowards. The Bible tells you that a man who tries to save himself will lose his life. But the man who would make the sacrifices necessary, the man who would fight, stand up and represent something, he's going to save his life. Meaning, even if something is to happen, even if something was to happen to you, you still get everlasting life. Yeah, we didn't listen. A lot of my people over here, y'all been here since the pandemic. If you've been over here on Nubreed Global Truth Channel since the pandemic, that's years of being over here. Put a 1 in the chat to let me know. Because there's something else coming to America that is very, very similar. But this time, it won't quite be a virus. It's going to be a mental sickness. A mental sickness, a strong delusion that they're going to curate using another proxy. That's why discernment is so important. Not panic, discernment. There's a difference. Panic says everything is over. Discernment says pay attention. Panic causes confusion. Discernment produces preparation. Preparation is what wise people do. See, ladies and gentlemen, nowadays you got to protect your mind. It's so easy nowadays to get caught up in fear, even if it's fear of what someone else will do or fear what may happen. A lot of the times, brothers and sisters, in life in general, we're worried about things that never even come to pass. None of this is promised. None of it is promised. See, preparation is exactly what wise people should be doing right now, spiritually, mentally, financially, physically. The Bible tells us in Proverbs, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. I'm telling you, it's something in the air in Babylon. Let me see. Army Your Force says it's radiation. You can see it, you can smell it, you can taste it, but it does things to your body. I think 5G has something to do with it. New World Order. I'm thinking you're talking about that smoke that's on the East Coast or up north. Look, Jay Money came through with the support, showing love. Look, we get a lot of FBA Israelite love over here, man. People show up, support the show. I appreciate that. Y'all gonna make a lot of the haters upset. All of the Sambos, all of them, they over there upset. Every time y'all support. Yep. Wisdom pays attention to warning signs, ladies and gentlemen. Wisdom don't mock preparation either, because guess who used to do that? The same people in the days of Noah. The same people in the days of Noah were mocked for warning people. I mean, let me say this, Noah was marked for warning people. Wisdom does not ignore reality. Wisdom observes, adjusts, and move accordingly. I really believe like that we're entering a period where the gap between illusion and reality is getting smaller every day. How many of y'all feel like that is coming to a time where things that are hidden, that has always been hidden, you're now going to be able to see it? Like reality as we know it will change. Systems that appear strong are going to be revealed as actually being weak. Institutions that demanded trust are going to lose all their credibility, and they already have been losing credibility. You know, people are starting to ask questions. People are starting to ask questions. Yeah, the veil is definitely thinning. Definitely. I think the biggest question we can ask is like, how much longer before it all breaks, really? Hebrews in the 12th chapter says that everything can be shaken, will be shaken. And it says, so that what cannot be shaken may remaineth. Now I want you to think about that, what Hebrews chapter 12 says. Everything that can be shaken, it will be shaken, but everything that remaineth will remain. Does it mean utter destruction for everyone? No. But a collapse is coming. And those who are on the wrong side of history, they're going to have hell to pay. And you know, the crazy part about it is they don't even see that they're on the losing side. They don't even see it. They're on the wrong side of the fence. Some of your family members on the wrong side of history, y'all. Some of your friends, your so-called friends, some of your neighbors. You may be a person living in a town where you're the only one in the whole community that can see. And it's times that this path can get lonely at times because it's not too many like-minded people. And that's why it's such an honor to come on here and build with y'all, because clearly we're like-minded. America has a weak foundation, and we can feel it. Not only see it through their actions. It's like America looks better than every country to a degree. No, I can't say that. America physically still is standing. Let's say it that way. But if you look at how people got to live, paycheck to paycheck, in fear all the time, all this anxiety, all this desperation, is it really rich? Or is it spiritually poor and it's masquerading as a powerhouse? A weak foundation is what we placed our trust in. And this is what got people selling out. Why? They put their hope in entirely the government. They put their hope in the economy. They put their hope in corporations, institutions. But if your foundation is deeper than the system, then you understand something very important. Systems fall. Empires rise and fall. Every so-called great nation, great kingdom, they all fail. They all fail. Markets are always going to fluctuate. Governments are going to change, but the truth is always going to remain. The Most High is always going to remain. Let him be the truth, every man a liar. It's time to strengthen our faith. Don't surrender to fear. And I don't care what it is in your life. If you got people trying to bring fear out of you, if you're around individuals that cause you anxiety, get them out your life. You don't need them. Let me see. Somebody says, that is it. Rich but spiritually poor. Right. That's what America feels like. And when you take morality out of the equation, when you take the spirit out of something, it's destined to fall. I want y'all to take a look at something here. Excuse me. Because Babylon is going through some things, right? I want to share one particular video with y'all. We're going to tap into what the people talking about. Will Babylon survive this? Hold on real quick. Let's move that.
Are we going to survive this as a country? That's what I want to talk about. By the way, today is Saturday, July 11th. I'm recording this in the morning. And, I got up this morning reading the news, as I always do, to prepare for today, see what I'm going to talk about. And I'm just so sick of this. I'm just so sick of all of this. It's, as someone put it, exhausting. It's exhausting. And there was nothing I really wanted to talk about in the news. And so I posted something on YouTube asking if anyone had any questions, because I really enjoy answering people's questions rather than just always discussing the news. And I got some good questions that got me to thinking about some things. So I want to read a couple of questions here. But the main issue that I want to address here is whether or not we're even going to survive this as a country. And if we do, how? How are we going to survive this? Anyway, here's the first question I got. The person wrote, I'm tired of it all too. My question is, how much more damage do you think this regime will do until Trump leaves? And do you believe that this country will get back to normal once he is gone? Boy, there's a lot in that one question alone. Let me deal with the normal. Will we ever get back to normal? I don't think this country's ever going to return to the normal as it was before Donald Trump. And obviously that's not to say that we didn't have problems before Donald Trump. Obviously we did. And the problems that we had in this country are in part what led to Donald Trump.
I think it is going to come a time where people just going to stop paying their damn bills. It's just too rough out here. I see William in the house says, stop paying bills. I think people are just going to, I think all at once, people are going to be like, look, it ain't nothing we can do. And you're going to have a lot of people doing that at one time. And it's just, it is what it is. People are going to stop dealing with their taxes. People are going to stop dealing with bills because guess what? It ain't nothing. It ain't enough to go around. And it ain't getting no better unless you adjust. Because keep in mind, the Most High's people are supposed to be protected and leave this land with great substance to ourselves. That's what the scriptures say. So we have to understand how to adjust. Put your best foot forward, you know. Take chances, healthy chances. And what I mean by take chances, if you need to start a business, start that business. If you want to get involved in entrepreneurship, do it. If you want to learn AI so you can get in that market, because that's going to be very lucrative, do it. Adjust. You can't do the same thing we used to do 10 years from now. You got to adjust to survive. Seriously.
And many of those, a lot of those problems are going to remain with us. Our biggest problem, in my opinion, being the American people themselves. Which, by the way, I discussed at length on a recent episode of my podcast. So those of you who like longer form content, more in-depth conversation, I hope you'll check that out, at least that episode. I'll put a link to it, by the way, in the video description below. So anyway, yeah, I don't think there's any, I mean, I think people are just hoping that once he's gone, we'll just go back to the normal as it was before Trump. I don't think that's possible anymore. I think the country is far too screwed up. I mean, just look at the Republican Party. Trump still has 30% approval. That's insane. That's tens of millions of people approve of this. There's no going back to any kind of normal when we have 30 million people at least who approve of all this. We had 77 million people and many more tens of millions of people who didn't even bother to vote in the last election, but 77 million who voted for Donald Trump.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is a huge dip in the approval rate. Spiritual healing, thank you for the support. Thank you, man, coming through with the support. I appreciate you. Says been watching since 2020. I'm a little slow mentally, but have been still listening to this truth. I'm not giving up on any of it. The first will be last and the last will go first. All praises. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. And man, you know, hey, listen, I wouldn't call yourself slow mentally, man. You're just different, brother. You're peculiar. You're rare. You know, they say the people who actually got quote unquote learning disabilities be the most neurodivergent individuals out there. Those would be the people who can see things that others can't see. You understand? Real talk. I appreciate the support.
After everything he did, all the crimes, the convictions, the adjudication for sexually abusing a woman, on and on and on. After all of that, 77 million voted for him. He said he would be a dictator. A man who literally tried to overthrow our republic promised he'd be a dictator if we reelected him. And 77 million people voted for that. And tens of millions more couldn't even be bothered to come out and vote. When a literal insurrectionist promising to be a dictator was running. So yeah, I don't think there's any going back to normal. But the question is, as this person asked, how much more damage do you think he will do? I have no idea. But I believe the worst is probably yet to come.
Yep, and I'm going to tell you this now. It's not Trump. There's powers operating over him. We seen earlier who put the battery in Trump's back to do a lot of the things he's doing. And there's a plan. There's a plan. Albert Pike, a 33rd degree Mason, somehow predicted all of the world wars, you know, back in the, I want to say it was the damn 30s. He predicted all the wars, including World War I, II, and the future wars that we are in now. Thank you for the support. Bruce says, Nubreed, where do you see this country by next year? Oh, that's a great question. Oh, man, by next year, honestly, we're not even that far. We almost at next year. First of all, time is moving crazy. Time is just speeding by us. Like the days are just kind of merging together. Next year is what, 6 months from now? Look, in the next 6 months, I can see a lot of what we're seeing now, but more extreme. Now, what do I mean by that? Today, when I filled my truck up with gas, it cost me $85. $85. When I first bought this truck last year, it cost $55 to fill the tank up. Last month, it cost $70 to fill it up. Today, it costs $85. So, where do I see the country in the next 6 months? Hyperinflation. I can see the next 6 months, a lot of the shipping lanes just pretty much closed off. If you want to give it a little more time, I say the next year and a half, if I'm going to be more accurate, in the next year and a half, I will say that most of the storefronts you see, franchise stores, are all going to be online. They're gonna kill off storefronts. Like everything is going to be done online within the next couple years. Somebody said 120 is what it costs. I must be using cheap gas. No, I use the medium grade. I use medium grade gas. You know, you got, I mean, I don't care if you listen, it doesn't matter if you do use cheap gas, right? If you have a vehicle and it cost you 30 to fill it up last month and it's costing you 50 now, that's inflation. That's the point. Doesn't matter, you know, different vehicles, different price. But by 2030, if I want to be real specific, by 2030, we're going to be looking at a damn dystopian country the way it looked. I can see by 2030, it's going to be a brave new world. All of the stuff that you see in the movies going to be right here in Babylon. Yeah, it's all expensive. Yeah, AI going to be taking more jobs. That's right. Shout out to King Connect. The AI definitely is going to be taking jobs. I mean, it already started. Yeah, I can see food being extremely expensive. Arel Yah, I see you. She says, humble, noble Hebrew King Nubreed. Hey, I like that. I appreciate that. Y'all gonna make them mad. Pretty ladies complimenting a brother. See the royalty. They respect it. You know, we be over here truth maxing, and we keep all the baddies over here. All the baddies be over here all the time. Some of them in the cut. Some of them chilling right now because it's kind of late, so they just relaxing. And they just kind of kicking back, listening to the broadcast. But we just be having the most attractive women on YouTube over here. And we be truth maxing. Like, this is an amazing community because we sit over here in truth max and we still keep the beautiful baddies over. Like, how do we do that? And they try to act like we gotta be ratchet, and they act like we gotta be ratchet and be bamming out just to have, beautiful sisters around. Nah, they listen. Real women like intellectual conversations, man. They like the fact that the brothers over here can come together and congregate on some real talk. They like the fact that it's peaceful over here. It ain't no drama. You know, they come over here and they get comfortable. You know, they can come over here and let their hair down and be in their feminine. You know, a lot of them can't go over to a lot of them other chats because they can't get in their feminine because the host and all of the hosts be too catty. Some of the hosts be catty on these platforms. Yep. But like I was saying, man, real recognize real. But like I was saying, in the next by 2030, it's gonna look like what's that one movie? It's gonna look like a mixture of the Terminator series and it's another movie and Purge. It's gonna look like Terminator, Purge mixed with the Book of Eli. That's what it's gonna look like by 2030. I believe by 2030, a lot of the Most High's people are gonna be out of the country. I think we're gonna be trying to get up out of this junk. Yep. Let me see. Somebody said, let's go back, Nubreed. Go back where? Where we going? Somebody called it Scam America. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to look like Mad Max. That's a good one. It's going to look like Mad Max out here. I don't want to get hit with copyright, but I do want to read the scripture in the book of Haggai. It says, ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but you not have enough. You drink, but you are not filled. Now that's what it is in Babylon. It's never enough. It's never enough. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
I haven't been eating much lately. Can't afford to, really. And that's just where life is right now, man. You make enough to not get help and not enough to get by. Forget basic medication for your kidney failure. Don't have the insurance to cover it. So what do? You suck it up and you just keep moving. You just keep moving no matter what pain you have, no matter how bad it feels, you just keep trying to make it work. And it's getting pretty crappy to make it work. Because I'm in a lot of pain right now. I really am. And I'd really just like a chance to take a breather and get the help I need and not have to worry about food for a day. And that's just kind of where life is.
I'm gonna need someone to explain to me why it costs more for me to make spaghetti for my family than to go to McDonald's. Are we great yet, America? Someone explain why it costs $9.99 for the cheapest pound of ground beef. I'm sorry, but the pounds are looking a lot chintzier than they used to. The fact that I almost put my groceries back and drove my ass to McDonald's is telling of how bad it's actually got here. And like, why do I have to be rich to get my kids the good freaking beef? Oh, I have to spend $10 on beef that was probably cows fed all sorts of crap. We have no idea. And now our kids are being fed this crap. And then we wonder why America's kids are growing up unhealthy. I'm sorry if I'm cranky. My air conditioner blew about a week ago and I haven't been able to fix it because I don't have a savings account. My husband and I both work in education. And in case you didn't know, dual education incomes isn't enough to pay the bills anymore. I mean, God, a couple of years ago when my kids were still in daycare, I could afford more than I can now. And they're not even in daycare, they're in school. Someone explain that math to me, please. Before you come at me like, oh, get another job. Summer's only like 180 days. I am working my ass off this summer to try to make money on TikTok Shop, another full-time job, which I did all school year, 2 jobs together, and I cannot make enough money. Because guess who swooped in and bought TikTok and made it so much better? That's right, good old America, making things great. Ask any TikTok Shop affiliate when things started going downhill, they'll all tell you the same glitch happened. All I know is that in my 20 years of education, I know when I go back to school, this will be the first time I will be burnt out before I even started.
You know, a lot of people are upset because they got hoodwinked. They got bamboozled, run amok, led astray. You know, they believe the American dream. There's so many people who thought if they go to college for 4 years and then take an additional 2-3 more years and get that master's degree, that they were going to be all right. You know, you put in all that work only for AI to come in and take pretty much all the jobs. You got Elon Musk saying that in the future, people are not even going to have to work jobs. There's going to be some sort of universal basic income. You know, you squeeze the people dry and then you become the solution. Problem, reaction, solution. All right, you're struggling. Look, we're going to give you an allowance. All you got to do is come on down here, get this little chip in your hand, the mark of the beast. And, you know, all you got to do is come down here, get the chip, and go do what it is you're going to do. And we're going to give you a monthly siphon. And you're going to have to just come check in with us every month. We're going to be able to see everything on that chip. That's where it's coming to. This is the future. If you wonder why it's going down like this is what they're setting the stage for.
Oh, use your time to relax, they say. I can't afford to. I can't pay my bills, so I have to do something to make up that money. Oh, take a vacation. How am I going to afford that? I was literally supposed to go camping with my friends last weekend and had to cancel because I couldn't come up with the money it costed to go camping. My kids haven't seen their grandparents in 3 years because if I can't afford to go camping, I sure as hell can't afford a trip across the country. And if anyone comes in the comments saying you know what you signed up for, immediately block. Because I don't know why people think that it's okay to see a teacher crash out and go in the comments and comment that crap. And no, I didn't know what I was getting into because it wasn't like this when I started 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. Anyway, thanks for coming to my crash out.
Why are apartments $1,800 a month? A 1-bedroom apartment is almost $2,000 a month. My mom owned a condo for years. I remember growing up, she used to rent out her condo. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom on a lake. Boat access for $1,100 a month. $1,100 a month. That's dirt. That's pocket change in this economy. Like, I can't, no wonder. Literally people aren't having kids. Like, people aren't getting married. It's like the most single generation ever because we can't afford anything. We can't afford to even, like, be in a relationship because we're still living at home with our parents because we can't afford to live on our own. And if we do, we're not saving, we're going in debt, we're just not, we don't have any extra money for anything. It's like you spend all your money towards your living expenses and then you don't have any money to do anything.
That's because, you know, we got to say this, they tricked a lot of the women with feminism. You know, they sold them the idea of independence. And now a lot of women are really going through it because they believe that lie too. They believe that lie. You know, and it's to the point a woman can have a man that is actually providing for her, and she still would desire her own independence. That's just how it is. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that. Don't get it twisted like I'm some kind of traditionalist. No, I'm moving on with the times. I actually like an independent woman at this stage in my life. I would rather a woman have something that she got going on with her life. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. There's no fear for a woman who got it popping. I actually prefer that because I got it popping. But the point I'm making is young women this age, they should desire to work together. Because you notice she said you can't be in a relationship because this, that, and the third. But look, if you're working together with someone, then you can make it work. You can make it work. But, you know, the struggle is real. Anyway, let's go.
Like, what is happening?
America's the greatest country in the world. That's been our slogan for decades. And my question is, why is everyone broke then? Seriously, how can we call ourselves the greatest country in the world when everyone's broke? 65% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 40% of those people make over $100,000 a year. 95+% of people don't have $100,000 in their bank account. Think about how little $100,000 is in the grand scheme of things. To take it a step further, 59% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency. Think your car breaks down, your kid gets sick, something in your house breaks. 59% of people would have to go into debt to cover that emergency. 83% of hourly workers have less than $500 in their savings account. 29% of Americans have more credit card debt than savings. To top it all off, 100 million Americans combined owe $220 billion in medical debt. 1 in 3 Americans are in medical debt. Let's call it what it is. America is the greatest country in the world for the affluent. America is not the greatest country in the world for the average person.
That is crazy what he just said. Some of that data he just gave is actually pretty shocking. He said the average American worker, hourly worker, has less than $500 in the bank. And to take it a step further, 89% of Americans, if I'm not mistaken, what he just said, has more credit card debt than savings. To show you where America's at. So when I say like this place about to break, I'm not just saying it to be saying it. I mean, it's about to be literally broke, like empty pockets broke. You know, that's why in this time, strengthening your faith is important. Strengthening your family, your discipline, your mind. Because honestly, regardless of what happens next, those who remain grounded in truth will be far better prepared than those who spend their days pretending nothing is happening or those who are panicking. The signs are everywhere. The pressure is increasing. The cracks are visible. The question is no longer whether people can see them or not. The question is, how much longer before everything starts actually breaking? Like how long before the collapse and chaos starts? Because that's what has to happen.
This is wild, and I want to make sure you don't miss it. We all know that Donald Trump said on day one, I'm going to get prices down for Americans, right? Look at what's happening now. This is a brand new poll from The Guardian. It just came out today. Half of Americans struggle to afford groceries and gas. Half of Americans. Guardian calls this a grim portrait of cost of living crisis and says that about 57% of polled Americans also believe the economy is worsening, because it is. The poll also says that 95% of Americans now believe the U.S. is suffering an affordability crisis. 95%. And this is not just Democrats, y'all. Pessimism about the economy has increased for all Americans of all parties. Look at that. Just whoop for everyone. In February, 22% of Republicans said the economy was getting worse. Now that's up to 38% of them, of Republicans. Then they asked people whether they thought jobs in their area were disappearing. Look at rural Americans. 41% of them say good job opportunities in their local area are disappearing. By the way, when it comes to rural Americans, 64% of them now say the economy is getting worse, compared with 46% who said that in February. And again, look at these specific numbers. The percentage who responded they are having trouble affording gas, 52%, groceries, 51%, loan payments, 46%, utilities, 46%. Oh, and don't forget, half of those polled said they're struggling to afford their debt, including student loan debt. This is the economy after a year and a half of Donald Trump and the Republicans in full control. But don't worry, because Donald Trump is on the job, if you consider the job building a new helipad on the White House lawn.
Beautiful helipad
And it's got the seal of the White House on it in granite, in carved granite. It's really a beautiful thing.
A beautiful thing, he says. But as for this, oh well, he doesn't have an opinion about it at all, because as far as he's concerned, it's not true, it's not real, and your struggles are fake news. And if you're not mad about that, you should be extremely.
There's no question that America at its best is a land of opportunity, and if you bust your ass, you can live your own personal dream. However, it has gotten way too hard. Underemployment is the least talked about, most powerful thing in our economy. More people are working harder than they ever have. I'll tell you what it means. And look, that's part of the problem.
I don't know what that is. What's underemployment?
Here's underemployment. Unemployment is who has a job. Underemployment is how good is the job. And more Americans are working more hours for less, working multiple jobs, and they are not getting the wage growth to keep up with prices, so they can't save.
Then why don't they do something? Why don't they do something about it? So community college is free across the board.
They're working more than ever. They don't have time to go to community college.
I'm telling you, when you got to work 3 and 4 jobs, when you got to do Uber, Lyft, you got to have your side hustle. You got to have a 9 to 5. You got to have a part-time job. You have to have a full-time job, a part-time job, and still 3 side hustles just to get by. Just to get by. And yeah, Bill O'Reilly is completely out of touch. He don't know what the hell's going on in the country. That's why the other gentleman said, America's good for the affluent, those who got it, those who are millionaires and billionaires. But us average middle class to lower class, it's turning into Hunger Games with us. It's getting to the point where the poor ain't gonna have nobody to eat but the rich. Everything that we've been seeing on these movies. Yeah, I look at foreign news too. It tell you exactly what you need to know, but peep this.
College. They don't have time, okay?
They're working multiple jobs. When you and I grew up in Queens, Bill, one middle class income was enough for a whole family and a pace for home ownership. Now you got both parents working and sometimes one of the kids.
It's a different time now, okay? So community college is free across the board. So if you're not making any money in your job, okay, maybe you want to figure out a better job. Get more skills. Just driving an Uber in New York City, you can pile up some serious cash. Just driving an automobile, okay? So I don't know what this underemployment is. I worked at jobs.
Now, I mean, Uber is a real job, and you can stack some money depending on what city you're in. Depending on where you at, I tell everybody who got a vehicle, if you need a good side hustle, go ahead and do the Uber. Go ahead and do the Lyft. Get it how you live.
Where I wasn't fairly paid, okay? And I got another job because I knew I was getting hosed.
Is anybody just sick of everything at this point? The gas prices are high. Everything, health insurance, car insurance, food prices. You walk out the door and you feel like you're getting taxed on every single damn thing. And you think to yourself, as a person who is 41 years old at this point, when I was in school, I graduated.
Real 80 says it doesn't go far at all with gas prices. Yep, that's what I was thinking. I never done Uber before, but I know like in college towns, I've heard people say they make a decent amount of money, like in certain cities like Miami or, stuff like that. But I mean, when you think about the gas prices right now, yeah, Bill O'Reilly worth $75 million. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. Like, these are not That's the thing. These are not working class citizens. They cannot possibly, you know what I'm saying, know what's going on. They can't possibly know what's going on, bro. Trump, you remember Trump was like, he ain't know nothing about going to the grocery store. He don't know nothing about grocery prices. They're a billionaire. Since a baby.
Waited in 2003. We were always told, you go to work, you work hard, you make money, you could afford a house, you could afford a nice car, you can afford to go on vacation every once in a while. You didn't have to go, oh, I don't know how much groceries I'm going to be able to buy. Or, well, I guess I'm not taking a trip because I can't afford plane tickets, or I can't afford the gas to go out of town because I need gas to go back and forth to work. You know, that dream that was sold to us.
Yo, a light bulb just went off in my head, y'all. Like, seriously. Like, seriously. Like, we when I do these streams, right? The way my mind operates is I'm always solution based. One thing about it, I'm always gonna be solution based. And I noticed that we got a lot of like-minded people. We got to really start coming together in the flesh, like for real. Because when this thing gets where it's going, we got to have a real support system. Like we really do. And I know that can happen in due time. That can happen in due time, but we need to start really moving towards that direction. Real talk. We really do.
You know, you go to college, you get out, you get a good job. You know, you work hard, you make money, you're going to have a good life. That was always instilled in every one of us.
Yep, you sold the American dream and it turned out to be a lie. Turned out to be a lie. Let me see here. All right, there you go.
One of the most lethal weapons of war, an Iranian drone designed to kill people, American troops. Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush, chairman of the group United Against Nuclear Iran, joined Florida Congressman Carlos Jimenez and warning, they say, of some 300 Iranian drones in Cuba, possibly in position to strike America and its assets.
This particular model, there's about over 100 pounds of explosive. That's a pretty big bang, all right? And so they say that's why they call them kamikaze drones, right? So they crash into their target and they explode.
On a possible U.S. military conflict with Cuba, Jimenez emphasized speed and range, as these drones can fly 115 miles per hour and travel more than 1,000 miles, easily reaching cities in South Florida. The U.S. naval base at Guantanamo Bay, Tallahassee, and Atlanta are also well within range. One of the most lethal weapons of war, an Iranian drone designed to kill people.
Now, the reason I showed you that, ladies and gentlemen, is because I believe that the war is going to start hitting American mainlands at some point. At some point. I can't say when, but this thing is being ramped up. And listen, we've seen this go down in every other country. And for some reason, America think that it just can't happen to them. But it's just something to keep an eye out on. But anyway, when we're talking about this system, I want y'all to understand that history teaches us that societies don't usually fall because of one major event anyway. They fall because they ignore hundreds of small events. People be ignoring what's going on till one morning, they wake up and realize what's really happening. And that's where we are today. You know, the average person is so overwhelmed by being in survivor mode. You know what? We bombarded by our daily task all the time. You know, survival mode got us missing the big picture. Everybody's just trying to pay bills, trying to keep food on the table, trying to make the rent, trying to keep gas in the car. At the same time, trying to maintain, mental health. In a world where mental health is seemingly becoming more unstable every single day. And meanwhile, the headlines keep coming. Food concerns, water concerns, economic concerns, housing concerns, energy concerns, supply chains, healthcare. All of these different issues we deal with in America affect every average citizen. We at a time right now where, when people worry about building a better future today, many people can't worry about that because they got to simply hold on in the current. It ain't like, back in the day, people can plan their lives to a degree. You can't plan your life in a Babylon no more. This place is breaking. Like, that's why I don't understand. I understand the Sambos because they're just afraid. I can't understand that type of cowardice, but they know that the future is looking a certain way. And instead of empowering themselves and their own people, they rather operate like cowards. And it should concern everybody that this is where we at. Not worry, not fear, but concern. Because a nation is extremely vulnerable when all the people are exhausted. And people are exhausted. You can see it on everybody's face. You can hear it in their voices. And it's gotten to the point where you can even feel it in the atmosphere. The mass majority of people are carrying burdens that they're not meant to carry. We are not meant to be in survival mode all the time. It does something to us. It creates hypervigilance. It creates desperation. It actually shortens our lifespan living that way. This is why the mortality rate is sky high. This is why the average person is leaving Earth in their 50s. In their 50s. Especially men. Especially men. The scriptures tell us in Ecclesiastes that there's nothing new under the sun. So the same patterns that destroyed previous kingdoms are showing themselves again. What are those patterns? Arrogance, greed, corruption, moral decay, economic failure, a disconnection from the Most High. History keeps repeating itself because human nature keeps repeating. The technology changes, the buildings change, languages change, but spirits behind people remain the same. We battle not against flesh and blood. This is a fight against wickedness and principalities in high places. So it's the same spirits operating behind the people. It's just different faces. And one thing history consistently teaches us is that no empire is immune from consequence. No nation is too powerful. Y'all heard what these people did. America bombed and killed 80,000 people over there. in Iran. You think, I don't know what be in people's mind, but if you really consider yourself a Christian, right? If you consider yourself a Christian, you know the Bible says what goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. You know the Bible says a land built upon iniquity shall fall. It also says, woe to the land that's built upon blood. When you just put those scriptures into consideration and you see the war crimes that have been committed in this country over the last year, we gotta be getting close. So many war crimes have been committed. The Roman Empire believed it would last forever. The Babylonian Empire, they believed they would last forever. Every kingdom throughout history believed its power was permanent until it wasn't. That's why pride is dangerous. Pride, listen, pride and arrogance is on a lot of people. Pride is dangerous, man. Pride convinces people that warning signs don't apply to them. Pride says, yeah, we'll figure it out. Pride says, it can never happen here. But you was just watching the news. You was just watching the news and babies' bodies was getting carried off and buildings was collapsing. And you seen Cuba get their damn water shut down. I mean, get their electric shut down. Cuba's still in the damn dark. Y'all see what they did to Maduro? Then they went over there and snatched Maduro and his wife up to bring him to a kangaroo court. Not to mention what they did to Muammar Gaddafi, what they did to Saddam Hussein, what they tried to do to Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. But guess what? Reality don't care about your damn pride. Reality responds to actions. That's the thing. And the consequences of one's actions eventually come to pass. You know? And you know, the real crisis, it may not be economic. I think, honestly, the real crisis we're facing, I think it's environmental. What is money anyway? Currency. Why is it currency? Because we believe in it. We believe in the picture. We believe in this green piece of paper with a dead white T-man on there. We believe in it. It's just the money is actually just part of our environment. People die for it. People kill for it. For a green piece of paper. I don't even think the real crisis is political. I believe it's spiritual. I believe it's spiritual. Because when people lose their moral compass, every other system is going to follow suit. Every other system is going to fall just like the morality. When truth is now something that's just considered like relative, confusion becomes something that's normal. Confusion becomes normal. Imagine a system that spreads so much confusion that the world and the people of it don't know the truth when they hear it. where the truth sounds like a lie because they are used to feeding themselves confusion. Let me see what this person said in the chat. Says, Breed, you keep talking about war crimes. This is judgment. God uses the son of perdition to fight against one another. The Muslim nations are no better than Zion and Christian nations. Psalms 83. I agree with you. I think you must misunderstand me. I don't give a damn about any of them. I know they're being used to judge each other, but that doesn't mean that you can commit war crimes under their law and go bombing schools with children in it. Respectfully, I'm not trying to come off disrespectful. I'm just saying you have to have balance. Yes, they're being used to judge each other, and I agree wholeheartedly. But that does not take away the fact that war crimes have been committed, regardless. It's still not something that is right. If that makes sense to you, my good brother. If that makes sense to you. Yep. I know that I agree with you. I wholeheartedly agree with you, fam. It's just that bombing schools, killing off they bombed a girls' school. I don't have to like the Persians to have a human reaction to something like that. And if you Persian, I mean, there's no disrespect towards you. I don't hate anyone. The point I'm making is every action has a reaction. Excuse me. Keep sneezing. Keep this.
Hey, one thing that's been on my mind heavy lately is I think we the last generation, bro. Like, I feel like the collapse of our society and our world as we know it is gonna happen in our lifetime. Like, the adults that's coming up now, I feel like we're the last generation, bro. Real shit. Like, I feel like whatever's gonna happen, whether it be war, economic collapse, pandemic, something like that. Like, whether it happens, like the collapse and downfall of our world and society, I think it's gonna happen in our lifetime, bro. Like, realistically, I think we got. I don't know I don't really know the exact time, but I think we really got 30 to 50 more years left, if that. To be honest, like, I really don't know. Like, I think it's gonna be over with in our lifetime, bro. And that's really crazy. It's really crazy, but when you think about it, we've been on this track for a minute. Like, this shit was bound to happen. Like, it was bound to happen. Like, with the rise of AI, the rise of technology, people, the political factions, that one country, USA, like, it's a lot going on, and like, we done got to the point, and capitalism is so high. It's like, damn, bro, this shit really about to crumble. Like, everything about to crumble, bro. I really feel that. Like, we the last generation, bro. But
I agree with him, actually. I think we don't have no more than 50 years left. I know that people have said that for the longest. Every generation thought the world was going to end in a time, but I don't know, man. I really think it might. The world as we know it, I really believe that's going to happen with probably less than 50. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. Anyway, let's go.
It's really crazy to think about, bro. Like, we really probably the last generation. Real shit. It's crazy.
Hey, how many of y'all agree with that? How many of y'all agree with that statement that this could possibly be the last generation? Because there's a lot going on. I see a lot of people saying 2030 is over. I don't know. You know, the Bible does tell us we know not the time, day, nor hour. So we can only make assumptions or predictions. But what I will say is that when truth is denied and righteousness gets mocked, corruption will flourish. That's what I do know. When people stop seeking wisdom, deception becomes more easy. Isaiah warned us about a generation that would call good evil and evil good. And when you look around, are we witnessing that right now? Are we witnessing that right now? Matter of fact, I'm going to show y'all something. Shout out to Anna Serve, because she shared me this source right here, and I couldn't believe what I'm seeing, the sickness. I'll just hold this phone up. Look at this, y'all. I don't know if this is backwards, but let me read this to y'all. I don't know if y'all can see the words or not, but it says, children forced to perform same-sex kisses by LGBT activists, teacher then graded on the assignment. That's the kind of sick-ass world we in. That's the type of wickedness. And you know what? Here's the crazy part. Trump is doing such a reign of terror right now. When the Democrats get back in office, you're going to be seeing a whole lot more of that. Because that's how they do it. Once the Democrats get back in office, the world's going to be relieved that it seems like, listen, let me just go ahead and predict what's about to happen. The world is going to be relieved once the Democrats are back in, because the racial tension is going to go down. But you know what's going to go up? Sodomy. The spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah is going to go right back up. Inclusion for everybody. You're going to start seeing them weirdos and freaks. NAMBLA, Man Boy Lover Association. Perverts. Pervy Swervy going to be right back on the streets. Pervy Swervy going to be right there back at the junior high school with the trench coat. More confusion. That's why either side. Yeah, over here, in case you're new to the platform, we don't do Democrat, we don't do Republican. We go straight down the middle. It's all about truth. I don't care who in the office, that's who I'm going against. Because I know they're not doing what they have to do to bring reciprocity to the people who built this country. Yeah, it's going to be over with King Connect when them Democrats get back up in office. There's no doubt about that. Speaking of racial tension, y'all remember that white supremacist that went on that whole rant? This rant. We're going to play this real quick. A little interesting thing happened.
You guys remember him?
Throw them in that water. I say, swim, boy, swim. What?
Yeah, you guys remember now, right? Remember how everyone was asking me what his real name was? I know everyone wanted to know where he was. Jacksonville, Florida. Remington, since you decided to put my face on your white supremacy page, I think we should call it even, shouldn't we? Because I saw you put my video up on your account, sir. So now we're even, aren't we? There's just certain things you don't do, you know? Like you don't put a black girl's face on your white supremacy page. That's something you just don't do. Because I didn't put your name out there. Now, did I? Since we're playing that game, looks like both of us are playing that game.
And they look, let me tell y'all, they done found this man's job. They done put all kind of complaints out there. And, you know, good for him. You know, good for him. I just want to show you that the white supremacists, they're going to have their day. They're going to have their day. Listen, when the Democrats get back in office, it's going to be a lot of these white supremacists. They're going to go into hiding, bro. They're going to go into hiding. Yep, his job got put out there, everything. And then they even had pictures of him rocking gold fronts, trying to act like a brother. A lot of them be having this deep-rooted jealousy for us because they want to be us. They all want to be us. They all want to be foundational Black Americans. Tethers want to be us. White supremacists want to be us. Let me tell you the truth about Democrats and Republicans. Republicans are racists who are secretly gay. Democrats are openly gay and secretly racist. Y'all want me to repeat that? That was a good one. I'm going to say that again. Republicans are openly racist, secretly gay. Dave Chappelle voice. Gay, gay, gay. But guess what? Democrats, openly gay as hell, frolicking amongst the lilies, wearing assless jeans. But secretly they racist as hell. That's just what it is. Those were some bars right there. That's America. This is America. Don't got you smoking them? This is America. And they wonder why we didn't gave up on the system. They wonder why we gave up on the system. I mean, look around. What are we witnessing right now? Everything is upside down. Common sense has become uncommon. Truth is always debated. Facts are always manipulated. People are divided against one another while larger problems continue. You had this dude here, McCall, on your screen, talking about swim, boy, swim. And now they done doxed him. It's going to be a lot of white supremacists going underground. They're going to, listen, they're going to be hiding in their damn trailer parks. I mean, Trump is going to run out of time. Trump going to run out of time. Like, I know we keep hearing the idea of a dictator. Like, nah, you know, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I really don't. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I know he getting real comfortable in that damn White House, though. Trump building that White House up like he ain't planning on leaving. He building new rooms and he's spending money. He's spending our taxpayer dollars He ain't trying to leave out. They're going to have his ass removed, boy. This level of power, being a president of the United States, he loves that power. That power right there, he don't want to let that go. He want to have that power to his dying day. If Trump's number ain't called and he don't kick the bucket while he on the toilet tweeting in the next few months, like my brother Zah said in the song, if he don't kick the bucket, and even if he do kick the bucket, they just gonna clone him if they haven't already cloned him. But that man ain't trying to leave that office. But I'm telling you, while all the citizens are arguing with each other, many of the institutions, they depend on the strain that we have in this land. You know, the Bible says in Hosea, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So it didn't say they were destroyed for lack of resources. It doesn't say they were destroyed because they lack intelligence. It says they lack knowledge. Knowledge is not just information. Knowledge is understanding, discernment, wisdom, the ability to recognize what's happening before it's too late. That's what knowledge is. So when you sense something changing, when you can feel the atmospheric change, that's actually knowledge. When things feel different, the culture feels different, the energy feels different, relationships feel different, people feel different. The world that a lot of us grew up in, it does not exist no more. The world we grew up in, it just do not exist no more. And you know, you can feel that. Something has shifted. And perhaps that's why most people feel restless. A lot of people are uneasy. Even sleep has become difficult for a lot of people in this time to actually just sleep at night. You know why? The spirit recognizes instability. Even if we can't fully explain it, our spirits feel it too. We're not immune, even though we're neurodivergent, chosen ones, part of the Christ body. We still feel everything that's going on. Some of us even feel it worse because we are empathetic. We are empaths. And I'm telling you, this is not a message of hopelessness. I'm only spreading awareness because I know that awareness allows preparation. I know that awareness can bring adaptation. Awareness can bring wisdom. You know, the people who are going to suffer the most in these times and these different crises that we see are people who refuse to acknowledge the warning signs. Prudent people pay attention. A wise person prepares. Foolish people mock until reality forces their attention. I've had so many people who mock and scoff, had me feeling like Moses, had me feeling like Noah. And in everything that I was warning people about came true. Everything, every bit of it. When I was saying hyperinflation about to come, the gas gonna go sky high. I was saying that months ago. The shipping lane's gonna be shut down. They closed the Strait of Hormuz. And I was saying all these things before it was happening, and people said, "You're fear mongering." I know a lot of y'all are tired of that. Noah looked foolish until it started raining. Joseph, he looked strange until the famine arrived, right? The prophets of old sounded extreme until events proved them right. Preparation will always appear unnecessary until it becomes essential. That's why now it's really time to strengthen every area of your life, man. You got to strengthen every area of your life. Strengthen your relationship with the Most High. Strengthen your physical health. Strengthen your discipline, your finances, your family relationships, your ability to think independently. The hive mentality got to go. Because difficult seasons will reveal who have weak foundations spiritually. How many of y'all have been in situations where it was some desperate times, things were tough, and people start revealing how wicked they are? Now I want you to imagine that you've seen that firsthand. Now I want you to imagine that all over the world or all over the country. Where desperate times calls for desperate measures, and you see how people really go. Whether people want to admit it or not, their own personal foundation is being tested right now. Because of the stress, the anxiety. Listen, pressure can either build a diamond or bust pipes. How much pressure can this system take before it breaks? How much more chaos can it absorb before it breaks? How much debt will it take before families start to break? How much stress before communities start to break? How much division before society breaks? How much corruption before the trust that we have breaks? It just breaks. Like when the government lies so damn much that the people just say, you know what? And they just start wilding. How much more before it breaks? I think, you know what I think? I think subconsciously, and sometimes I be thinking very deep. I think everything that I just asked, I think millions of people quietly in the back of their mind ask the same question every single day. How much more before this is over? But it's like subconscious, like a quiet voice. It's like an elephant in the room nobody want to talk about. It's like you're in the matrix and you know something is going to happen, but you haven't taken that red pill yet. But you know it subconsciously. It's already in you to know, like, man, something is off. It's reaching its breaking point. Psalms 46. It says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, will not we fear, through the earth be removed. Think about that, y'all. Though the earth be removed. And then it goes on, the verse goes on to say, though the mountains be carried into the sea, though everything around us appears unstable. And guess what the scripture says after that? Do not fear. Wow. Do not fear. That's how dangerous fear is. And see, I think it's important to break the stronghold that a lot of these religious communities have had over people, keeping them in a spirit of fear, keeping them stagnant and reliant instead of being proactive. Our confidence was never supposed to be in politicians, bro. Like, how many times we gonna sit up here, do the same damn thing every 4 years, thinking something gonna change here? Listen, the politicians are ran by lobbyists, and our confidence is also not supposed to be put in institutions. Our confidence is supposed to be on the Most High. I'm telling you, man, we just be on here cooking. I didn't even realize 2 hours went by, and it's 1:37 in the morning. We are just cooking. I'm glad to have y'all here with me on a Saturday night. I got to start making this a every weekend thing. Let me see. Sarah says, if SAVE, I can't read that. It says, if SAVE Act don't pass, we're all done. What's SAVE Act? Oh, that's the voter ID thing. It's the voter ID thing. When somebody says, if you invested in savings accounts 10 years ago at 3%, you should have actually lost money because of inflation. Yeah, it used to be a time you can put money in a bank, believe it or not. At one time, the American economy was so good. And I know this may sound unbelievable to some, but it was so good that your money sitting in the bank gained interest, just having it there. Now it's the opposite. Your bank will start charging you fees for keeping your money in there. But back in the day, let's say you had $500 in there and you didn't touch that junk for 5-6 years and it was just sitting in the bank. It would accumulate interest and you mess around, have $1,500. It was good. It was good like that. Like I'm gonna tell you, and I ain't that old. I ain't gonna give my age. I ain't that old, but when I was growing up, it was a whole different world. It was a whole different world. Like McDonald's burgers was just beef. And they say they beef now, so I'm gonna say allegedly, but now allegedly is humans. Allegedly. Like even with the food, you got a lot of people feeding their children anything, and they'll say, "Well, we ate that stuff growing up." No, the hell you didn't. The same brands you ate growing up are now packed with at least 30 more ingredients. At least 30 more ingredients. It's not the same thing. Let me see. Somebody says, thank you for the support, says we can stand firm knowing God has complete control. Absolutely. Thank you for the support. That makes people angry, makes them toss and turn. And They can't sleep at night knowing that y'all come through and y'all showing support. Look at that. Man, the support just rolling in. Oh, y'all don't start doing this, y'all. Don't even start it, y'all. Don't start it. Y'all trying to get one of these haters to run up on me. My man, let me see. Oh, I can't even see. Oh, okay, I see it. Anna Yah Winston. See the beautiful lady supporting. She says, "Hey, Breed, I watch your channel every day after I get off of work. I just want to thank you. You've helped me change my life." All praises. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Yeah, I definitely appreciate the support. And they definitely don't like when the beautiful women support. They get pissed. They get so pissed off about it. Where's my Cash App scan? Oh yeah, we can bring that back. I believe it's working now. Oh man. Look, somebody said, Breed, bring the Cash App scan back. Oh man. It's about to get crazy in here, bro. And then y'all gonna be pissing people off, man. They're gonna be like, why we can't just destroy this platform? Somebody says it's not real food. Yeah, Seraphim says you spitting fire. Thank you. I appreciate that. Fred says don't watch American news. Well, I watch it all. I watch it all. Earl, what's up? Face with stream from nose. Oh, I think that's an emoji or something. Yeah, they got the 3D printed meat, all of that weird stuff. But yeah, if you want to make them mad, show some support for the Cash App. If not, understand. Become a member, level, the chosen one. Appreciate you. Hop out is now a member. Well, anyway, if the scan doesn't work, Cash App is Nubreed Global Truth. That is Nubreed Global Truth. I want to thank all of y'all. I don't plan on staying on too much longer. I actually didn't even realize I was going to go live for 2 hours. Look, someone scanned the Cash App. The person who scanned it, I need you to tell me if it worked. I do need to know if it's working. 2 people scanned it. Oh, snap. Oh, man. These people they're going to be flipping out just knowing I'm getting support, man. Because that's what it's all about. To people who do this, who don't really have a passion for this, it's all about money for them. So when they see a platform like this one getting support, and I just love my job. I do this because even before I was monetized, I did this for years. Look, 4 people to scan, but y'all got to let me know if it's working. Y'all got to let me know it's working. I can check the Cash App and shout y'all out. Let me see. 5 people to scan. Yeah, somebody tell me in the chat whether or not it's working, though. Just communicate. If you scan, let me know. I asked quite a few times because I need to know if it actually works. We on that futuristic fly stuff. We got an actual QR code. Oh, based on I see some support coming through, so it must be working. Have no fear. Thank you for the support. Says love your content. I appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and start shouting them out. Look, it's 6 people who scan. And I'm gonna start shouting out. I'm gonna start shouting out some of these from days ago that I didn't, see. Look, thank you for the super chat. I'm gonna shout out to my brother Ezel, man, for his continued support. Beverly Richards, shout out. Heather Hayes, shout out. And this is from Thursday to now. Evelyn Stubbs, thank you. Chiquita Simpson, Philly Tate, Rich Holmes Decor. Yup. I appreciate you. And we got 7 people who scanned the Cash App. Man, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. I think some people be scanning it just to see if it worked. And again, the Cash App is Nubreed Global Truth. So if you want to show your support, show your support. I want to thank all of y'all for showing up tonight. It's always an honor and a blessing building with y'all. Y'all know I'll be back to my regularly scheduled programming. During the week, I'm going to be giving y'all some phenomenal uploads, man. This week's uploads are probably going to be the best upload 15-minute videos that y'all have ever gotten from this channel, because the downloads that I've been just receiving lately are just incredibly inspiring and incredibly edifying. So if you like my shorter form content, you know, I also do uploads during the week. Most of the time during the week, that's what I'll be doing. Shout out Blair for the support. Look, people just coming through showing all this love, man. Y'all about to make them mad. Man, 11 people scanned. Oh man, y'all showing up and showing out on here. Oh, I gotta shout out these names. Oh man, we gotta I gotta get my sound effects up. Because y'all are just on it. Right now, we just gonna do the lion roar. We're gonna do the lion roar right now. I need to update this thing. Man, shout out Derica Green. Shout out Blair. Shout out Jay Kelly. And Have No Fear, again, shout out. Showing y'all support. Man, it feels good to be actually shown love from my audience, man. Because I know when I'm pouring out, spending the time, the effort, the energy, doing these videos, doing these live streams, and y'all actually just be showing up, supporting, it makes me that much more like, because there's reciprocity going on. Y'all pouring into my work, it makes me just want to work harder for y'all. You know what I mean? When you're getting the support, it makes you want to work harder. And y'all show me an immense amount of love, man. I mean, y'all show me so much love, not even just the monetary support. Of course, I appreciate that. But y'all show up in so many ways. Y'all show up for me even in the spirit. When I'm going through great trial, great tribulation, there's people who inbox me with some kind words. You know, there's people who they may see me a little bit down that day and they'll check up on me. Hey, Breed, you good? A lot of you sisters, y'all check up on me like, hey, you know, we know that, you know, you work hard. Anything we can do. You know, I appreciate y'all. And it just keeps me on the course. You know, when I run into people in public, like I run into people everywhere, y'all. The channel is, I believe personally that my channel is bigger than the numbers say, because every state that I go to, every town I go to in Georgia, every grocery store I go to, I'm running into one of the most highest people, bro. You know, we are over 236,000 subscribers and growing. We just keep on growing. We're not even slowing down. Like this week alone, I got like 700 subscribers. And so it's just a beautiful thing. And I'm just running into people everywhere. And I just be glad the word's spreading. And shout out to all the people that I run into in the streets or a lounge, the streets, a lounge, a restaurant, a bar, the park, the gym, you know, the belt line, everywhere I be at. Everywhere I be at. Out here, Atlanta showed me love, bro. Atlanta showed me big love, bro. So I shout out to all of my Atlanta folks. I rock with y'all. When I first moved out here, I didn't like it because I don't know what it was when we had Biden in office, but it was like no togetherness here. Like everybody had their nose pointed in the air. Everybody act like they're in a music video and everybody just disregarding each other. But ever since these white supremacists showed up, it's like we started sticking together out this joint. Like, yo, you good, bro? Like it became more brotherly love, more sisterly love out here. And now I like Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know, these white supremacists on one, so you sticking with your people. And you know, Georgia actually officially is the highest rate of non-white people. It's over 50% non-white people in Georgia. Yeah. That means there's more melanated people in Georgia than any other state, as far as the ratios go. So, I mean, I would suggest them white supremacists don't come down here playing that nonsense. Drink some water. But it is what it is. Let me see. Let me shout y'all out. Hold on real quick. I think somebody sent me a source that I might have to, let me see. Is this a source? What is this? Oh, okay. No. Anyway, I want to thank y'all. I want to thank y'all for showing up. Thank y'all for y'all support, y'all's time. I want everybody to rest up. I'll be chopping it up with y'all real soon. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Y'all have a blessed evening, all right?